A group of witches took her baby. Unfortunately, this is a true story. In 2002, on an isolated ranch, far from the city lights, a pregnant woman began hearing strange things scratching at her roof in the middle of the night. During Margarita's pregnancy, she would constantly hear strange things coming from outside of the house. And amongst the things that she saw and heard, one time when she came back from her parents' house, she had seen a huge bird like a vulture circling the yard all night. And no matter how many stones they'd throw at it, it wouldn't leave. It would simply lower its head, flap its wings, until suddenly it was gone. She would also hear shrieks for what sounded like an animal coming from outside of the house, in which the next morning, they would find scratch-like marks in front of their door, along with pieces of old clothing and bottles that would be filled with strange liquids, all happening while she was pregnant. Time ended up passing, and things began to feel like they were going back to normal until one night, while Margarita and her husband were asleep, her husband had woken up to go get some water. And Margarita wakes up due to the movement that's going on in the bed. And when they looked out the window, they saw a woman watching them. She had two white points on her face, like lights, and she ended up vanishing. Margarita freaked out, while her husband went outside to see who it was, but eventually he didn't find anything. A few months later, her son's born, and things began to get a whole lot worse. Margarita's mother-in-law had warned her to be careful because she claimed there was an odd energy going on in the house, and that there were people who wished them harm. Her mother-in-law had given Margarita a whole bunch of crosses to place all over the house, especially in their room where they slept with the baby. But things just kept getting worse. Margarita's baby would constantly wake up in the middle of the night, crying. The worst moment being finding the baby on the floor, as if someone had taken him out of his crib. And Margarita said, every time she found him on the floor, he would be closer and closer to the window, until one night, Margarita opened her eyes and felt like she had sleep paralysis. She couldn't move. And that's when she sees a woman enter through the window. She said that she had very long legs, long hair, and a long dress. She would just stare at her until she began moving towards Margarita. She made her way on top of the bed and on top of Margarita and proceeded to lick Margarita's forehead. Margarita began crying uncontrollably. She said this thing smelled awful and started to mock her, until suddenly she started to approach Margarita's baby and began smelling him. Margarita recounts seeing this thing pick up her baby and proceed to head towards the window. But at that same exact moment, her husband came into the house. He had made noise as he was getting in. The woman ended up throwing Margarita's baby and proceeded to leap out through the window